Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. Tell me what you've been doing today. I'm playing Don't Rain on My Parade because I've been trying to do this Periscope for hours and it has been raining something fierce here in Atlanta. So it's raining on my Periscope parade. So what have y'all been doing today? I've been stuck inside, as many of you know, yesterday from my Periscope. My poor husband had surgery, so we've been inside for the past 4 days straight. We're going crazy. Hey, Candace. We're going to get started here in just a second, but I want to give everyone a chance. Celebrating your birthday. Happy birthday. Trisha, was that you? I couldn't tell. It went by so fast. That's awesome. Happy birthday to you. Oh, a broken leg? That's terrible. That's about as bad as my husband's surgery. That's no good. Barnes & Noble, my favorite. Can I go with you? Hi. Oh, from Australia? Amazing. Oh, somebody else is taking care of their husband too. Sad. Sad. What else? Online classes, no fun. Oh, I'm glad this is your favorite song. I used it because I want it to stop raining here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and mute this and get going so that way we can get started. If you're just coming in or you come in late, you can always watch the replay. So just while we're kind of on the screen, I'm gonna start a little series on my Periscope called Saturday Shenanigans. Since my blog is Elementary Shenanigans, I thought what better title than Saturday Shenanigans. I love series because they keep me accountable and it'll make sure that I will come back on Saturdays and do Periscopes even if the week is crazy. So I'm excited about this. I'll explain more as we get into it, but I'm going to go ahead and flip this around. I think I know how. Yes. Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. So as I mentioned, Saturday Shenanigans is going to kind of be like a little series. I want it to be a little bit more relaxed than I do through the week. I told you that my through the week Periscopes are going to kind of be 3 to 5 minutes, super fast, just a quick tip or trick or something you can do that week with your kids or implement the following week. But for Saturdays, I want it to be a little bit more relaxed. I want to be able to look at some of these comments and learn from you all. So it's going to be kind of more of a discussion. It'll still be quick. I don't want it to be long at all, but I definitely want to hear from you. So I'm really excited about today's because it's something I feel extremely strongly about, and that is choosing the right books for your kids. As many of you know, last year I went back into the classroom after a year in a development office at the Ron Clark Academy. And so I went back to 5th grade and 6th grade and taught reading. And one of the things that I noticed throughout the year was my book selection. Whether or not my kids were successful in reading was because of my book selection. For example, the very first book that I read with them, I was so excited about because I had read it the summer right before we started, and it was Hatchet. And my husband even recommended it, and I had asked lots of people, and they were like, "Oh, Hatchet, that's the best book. That's the best book ever. The kids will love it." Y'all, they hated that book. They hated it. It was just, they were not interested in it. And I was like, oh my gosh, here I am starting off the year and they don't even like this book. And so as a teacher, that made me realize what's most important in my reading instruction is the books that I'm choosing for my kids. And I think that goes regardless of grade level. So what I want you to think about for a second, and I actually have 4 book recommendations. I have been reading a book a day practically because I'm like, my reading instruction is going to change every year based on my kids. And so I'm sure y'all feel the same way, but I love Hatchet too, but it just didn't work. And so I've been reading tons of books, but I want you to think about when you have a book that you read with your kids, or you have a novel that you read, as a class, or things that you're putting in your literature circles, why? What makes you select that book? Is it because it's a book that you're required to read? Is it because it's a book that's a classic and every 3rd grader should read this book, or every 5th grader should read this book, or, they have to hear this book? Is it because it, is something that everyone should read together? What's the reasoning behind that? Or is it because you know that it's going to be a book that your kids are going to go crazy for, they're going to love, they're not going to be able to put down, they're going to be so excited to read and talk about that book? Because I think more often than not, the books that we read because we have to, or because it's a requirement, or, even when I looked at some summer reading lists this summer, I was like, yikes, because I think back, and I'm sure y'all felt the same way. I want to read some of your comments in a second. I'm going to get to those. But I think back to when I read in elementary school, middle, and high school, and I hated it. I did not hate to read. I hated to read at school. And I think that was because I was forced to read the classics. I was forced to read books that, they had been reading in 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade for 20 years. And y'all, we're not in, that this is not 20 years ago. This is now. And so we have to really choose books that our students can relate to, they can understand. It's current literature. I am not putting down the classics. I love them. I appreciate them, but that's because I have an appreciation for reading. So first we've got to establish that appreciation for reading, and that comes through engaging, literature that engages them, that they can completely connect to. So I'm wondering if y'all feel the same way. I'm looking at I'm seeing Shakespeare. I'm seeing that people agree, and it's, again, nothing against the fact of those, and I'm not even going to name any book titles. I mentioned Hatchet. That's kind of a classic, but again, did it get me anywhere? It got me absolutely nowhere with my students. And so I'm done with that book. I'm like, scratch that. I'm looking for other things. And so I'm looking at some of your comments, hated required reading. And, I'm going to do some more scopes on literature circles. I'm really excited because I read this book called How to Read Literature Like a Professor for Kids. And it completely changed my thoughts about reading. And so I'm going to completely change my literature circles around and have a whole new model for those. And so I'm really, really excited about that. So I'm going to come back and talk about literature circles, but definitely because, that gives kids an option to choose books that they like, choose books that they're interested in, but even your daily reading, your reading that you're doing with your students in class, we've got to find books that really excite our students. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it. I'm seeing that a lot of people need ideas for literature circles. It is coming. It is coming. I have been furiously working, especially since my husband's been sick, with these literature circles. I am so excited about them because it is a completely different way than I've ever seen, a completely different way than I've ever thought of. But I'm like, why have I not been doing this? Because it makes perfect sense. My boys seem to only love nonfiction. Yes, that's the thing is that we have to find books, boys do generally like nonfiction. So what kind of books can we find, in the fiction genre that's going to attract those readers, that's going to make them excited. So I'm glad that y'all are excited about literature circles. I'm not going to talk about those today because I want to get through these book recommendations, and then I have a giveaway at the end. So I definitely want y'all to hang around for that because you don't want to miss it. So I'm going to get into these books I have 4 books, and I want to show them to you and talk about them for a quick second and see what you think about them. You might have read them before, show you what I'm getting into this week for reading, and then get into that giveaway. So hopefully these will give you some titles. I always love hearing from teachers that read books because then I know they're okay. I hate getting online and reading descriptions because then half the time they work. I'll order the book and then I'll start reading it and I'm like, I'm 3/4 of the way through and I can't even use it with my kids. So I love getting book recommendations from teachers because I know they've read them and I know it's something that, okay, this is, good stuff right here. I definitely want to read it, become familiar with it because I think my kids will like it. All right, so I'm going to get started with you. So the first book is, I'm going to put it kind of right here on the screen so you can see it. Hello, Harry Potter. Okay, so the reason I chose this book, I know you've all heard about it, but I wanted to tell you something quickly about this book. So I had never, ever, ever had interest in Harry Potter. I was like, no, not me. I don't like magic. I don't like witches and goblins and just crazy stuff like that. So I had never been interested in Harry Potter. Well, then I went to Universal Studios to Harry Potter World. Have y'all been? It's amazing. It's amazing. So I went to Harry Potter World and I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. I've got to read the book. Okay, y'all, I read this book in a day. I hate that I can't fit the book and me in the screen, but you get the idea. Harry Potter, okay? I read this book in a day. It is incredible. It is nothing like I thought. I totally judged the book prior to reading it. It was one of the best books I've ever read. I would say this would be an excellent read aloud for 3rd, probably some of your higher readers in 4th could actually read it, 5th, 6th. And here's one of the things. A lot of kids have read this book, but use it as a mentor text for writing. If you find that a lot of your kids have already read this, this is brilliant. J.K. Rowling, I watched an interview with her yesterday. I always refer to her as Rowling. It's actually Rowling. Incredible. The use of imagery, the use of details, the creativity. I mean, this is how I want my kids to write. So if your kids have already read Harry Potter and you know they've already read it, either A, read it again and make them see it in a completely different light, or use it as a a mentor text, because I'm telling you, you are not going to find a better model than this book right here for writing. So I just wanted to put that out there just in case any of you were judging Harry Potter. But how many of you have read it? I'm seeing people say, yes, that's my favorite. A book you could use in literature circles. Definitely. You just don't even know what is inside this book. It is amazing. amazing. Every single teacher should read this, just because if you are teaching writing, I'm telling you, this is an excellent model. Read them all. I'm getting there. I'm working on it. I think I could probably do it in a week. I read super, super fast. That's why I can literally put down a book in a day. I'm a great skimmer, but I still get the whole part to the story. So 3rd grade read aloud, yes. I think so. I think they would love it. And I think it's kind of phased out a little bit. So I'm kind of excited about bringing it back. So, let's see. I'm trying to look at, definitely judged it. Yes. Seriously. Me too. I was like, not happening. And then somebody looked at me and said, you are crazy. And so I read it. Changed my life. Seriously amazing. All right. So Harry Potter, book number 1. Moving on to book number 2. One that a lot of people are also familiar with. I'm going to kind of put it up here so everybody can see. Matilda by Roald Dahl. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. I'm embarrassed to admit that I referred to him as Ronald Dahl for the longest time. Anyone else? Anyone else? Eek! I feel so embarrassed. I was like, oh my gosh. And then I started researching him one day and I was like, ooh. Okay, so I've heard a lot of, the reason I chose this book is because love him. Yes, you did that. Thank you. That makes me feel so much better because I was like, ooh. Okay, so the reason I chose this book is because a lot of people kind of judge Roald Dahl too, and they'll say, I just can't get into him. They've maybe read James and the Giant Peach or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Y'all, he is amazing, and he has so many works of poetry, short stories, ghost stories. Like, his works go on and on and on and on. He makes for a phenomenal author study. And so if you're having a hard time getting into him, read Matilda first. It is one of my favorite books by him. I've also seen the play on Broadway. Oh my gosh, it is amazing. It's pretty much kids, and there are like these 5, 6, and 7-year-olds that can sing and dance like professionals. It is amazing. So if you're ever in New York or somewhere where Matilda is on Broadway, highly recommend it. So I would definitely check him out. I just finished the BFG. Such a great book. I'm going to talk about some more of his and how I'm going to actually do an author study with him towards the beginning of the year. So I'll share more about that. So any Roald Dahl fans, what are your favorite books by him? I'm trying to see what people are saying. So I'll let some of those comments. My phone's love the BFG. Yes, great read aloud. I would say that's a read aloud for 2nd, 3rd. Definitely upper grades can read it independently. James and the Giant Peach, great one. I loved it. Let's see. A lot of BFGs. Appropriate for 2nd grade? I think so. Definitely, depending on the story. The BFG definitely for 2nd grade would be a great read aloud. Sometimes with my 2nd graders, I would find that I read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and James and the Giant Peach and some of those, even with my higher 2nd grade and 3rd grade readers. I mean, you have some of those guys that are on like a 10th grade reading level, and it's really hard to find challenging yet appropriate literature for them. So I definitely think you want to read through them and make sure, but I definitely think it could work. All right, so I'm going to keep what's BFG, Big Friendly Giant. I think there's a movie coming out about it. So I'm really, really excited about that because I like to pair books and movies are coming out. Just another reason to engage the kids, get them excited. Sometimes I have reward trips. After we've read the book, I'll take some of the kids that have done exceptionally well. So that's another way to engage your readers. All right, so just in case you're just tuning in, Harry Potter, go back and watch this and find out why you need to read this book. And then Matilda. If you're having a hard time getting into Dahl's works, Matilda is a great place to start. All right. So that's 2. I've got 2 more for you, and my last 2 are my favorites. All right, here. I'm going to put this one up. Write this book down, even if you don't teach upper grades. It's by Linda Sue Park, and it's called A Long Walk to Water. I hope y'all can see that. I hope it doesn't, like, flip it around and make I don't know. Can you see it correctly? Okay. Anyways, I bought this book on a whim. Buy it. Seriously, buy it. I bought it on a whim because I like the cover. I was like, oh, that kind of looks fun. And also, it has some historical content, and I was trying to find books that have historical content. I did not even know what I was getting myself into. It is absolutely incredible. You want to buy this book. Okay, so the cool thing about it is it's a dual narrative. So it's actually 2 stories that are paired together, but they happen at the same time. And it's a story about, I hope I say his name correctly, Salva Dutt, and he was a Sudanese lost boy, and it pairs it with a fictional story about Naya, who is living in 2008 in Sudan. And when I don't even want to talk a lot about this book because I will spoil it for you. Let me make sure you can see it again. That's how good it is. I want to make sure you buy this book. Seriously, so good. Okay. I don't want to spoil it for you, but when I tell you I read it in like 2 hours, first of all, it's a short read. So you can see it's a short, easy read. this book is amazing. First of all, after I read it, I completely went and researched him. I researched, he even has an online site where you can help purchase, I guess, money towards drilling in Sudan for water. I think I'm probably messing that up, but I can't remember the exact site, but if you'll just look him up, you will find all kinds of things about him. But after I finished reading this, I was so motivated to how can I help? What can I give? What can I do? And so what better way to motivate your readers than by giving them books and book titles where they're going to be like, let me extend my reading. Let me extend my learning. I want to research this. I want to find out who this man is. Did this really happen? Is it true? What can I do? How can I help? And so there's an online site that you can actually get involved in. Students can begin fundraisers. They can give money. It's incredible. I don't want to say a lot to spoil this, but y'all, the ending, I cried. It is so good. It is so heartwarming, so touching. You have to buy it. Okay. So Harry Potter, Matilda, A Long Walk to Water, and my final book, and I'm going to talk about that giveaway, I don't want you to miss out on it, is Mockingbird. Anybody read Mockingbird? Let me see. Anybody? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Let me go back to this because could this be read to first graders? I would say no. It goes through his entire journey to actually escaping from Sudan. So I would say probably this is more like fourth read aloud, fifth, sixth grade, seventh grade, even eighth grade. I think this would be really appropriate for. However, if you teach first grade, I would read it for yourself. It's that good. I promise. Really good book. Okay, so if you have any more questions about these books, I will even post something on my Facebook page and you can ask me questions or send me a message there and I will answer them. Okay, Long Walk to Water, I just said probably fourth grade, read aloud, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth grade, definitely. So I will put these books on my Facebook page with grade levels as well in case you miss any of that. All right, Mockingbird. How many people have read this? Mockingbird, any Mockingbird fans out there? I did not see this until I got on Amazon and was looking for some books. First of all, let me say that my kids loved Out of My Mind by Sharon Draper this year. It was probably one of their favorite books. Yes, I just saw somebody say Out of My Mind and Mockingbird are amazing. They're great. They would be great paired texts to read one and then have a follow-up in a literature circle. Grade level for this, I would say probably third grade read aloud, and I'll tell you why in a second, and then definitely fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh grade for sure. Really great book because here's what it's about. It is about a little girl named, I love Sharon Draper as well, but be careful because I thought that everything by Sharon Draper was appropriate, and then I read Panic, and it was like a straight up Lifetime movie. I was like, ooh. My girls love Sharon Draper this year, so I was trying to read a lot of books by her because I wanted to include her works in literature circle. And be careful with Sharon Draper. That's all I'm going to say. Unless you're like high school, then I think most of her things are probably okay, but be careful with her works, okay? All right, so Mockingbird, it's about a little girl named Caitlin, and she's actually suffering from Asperger's or struggling with Asperger's syndrome. And so talk about perspective. I think that every educator should read this book, 100% hands down, every educator, because it offers some insightful perspective about what she actually goes through on a day-to-day basis. In the book, I'm not doing any spoilers, but in the book, the only person that really understands her, and I'll show the cover. I'm trying to fit this all in. I'll show the cover here in just a second again. But the only person that understands her is her brother, and he actually dies in a tragic accident. Heartbreaking. And it goes through her struggle to make friends. It goes through how she doesn't understand why people don't understand her. And it is just a really great book. It is solid content. It's just heartwarming. Like I said, I think every educator should read this because it really offers a great deal of perspective and makes you realize, wow, every single student in our classroom has a story. They have something that they're struggling with. They have some kind of area that they feel weak in or they feel like people don't understand. And so I feel like this does a lot to help me better understand. I've got to be tuned into those things. I've got to look for these things and make sure that I'm understanding my students on a deeper level. So really, really, really good book. I would say third grade read aloud, and then probably fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, because it goes through, the tragic accident of her brother and some family struggles and things like that I don't think second graders would quite understand. So I think that would be a little much for them. All right. So love this book. If you love it too, post it in the comments below so that people will pick it up and read it because it is amazing. Okay. So those are my 4 book choices for today. I have read so many more this summer. I literally have like 75 sitting over on a shelf. So my husband's like, really? One more book? And I just ordered some more from Amazon. It's an addiction. But one more time, Harry Potter, just in case you're just tuning in, you want to go back and listen to why you need to read these. Matilda. The third one was A Long Walk to Water. Get this book. And then finally, Mockingbird. So those are 4 that you definitely want to add to your list. They would be great for literature circles, also for read alouds in, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade, even 8th grade for some of them. Probably not Matilda, but the rest of them would work for sure. Really, really, really solid books with great messages. The kids, I talked about earlier, the purpose of picking such strong material for your kids and relatable material is because that's what engages them. So I feel like for a different reason, every single one of those books will get your kids excited about reading. It reaches a variety of interest and ability levels. So I think those would be solid selections for you. So I'm just going to take questions for about a minute. Any questions right now, and then I'm going to talk about this giveaway. So any questions that you have about those books, or if you missed something, or if you're curious about grade levels, just found on PDF online. Interesting. Please do chapter book recommend. Okay, for younger grades, I can do that. I will definitely try to mix it up. I'm going to talk about picture books on here as well, because I even use picture books with, my 5th and 6th graders. I mean, mentor text, it's perfect. I don't think we should stop using picture books at all for upper grades. What kind of activities do you do along with these books? Oh my word, it would take me too long to tell you. So how about I will do individual posts on books that I use in my classroom and what I do for those. So that way I'm not taking up everyone's time. I just kind of want to get some recommendations out there. Harry Potter. I think probably 3rd grade. Read aloud would be awesome. 4th grade read aloud. 5th and 6th would be able to read it independently. So I will definitely mix it up and get some books out there for you younger people as well. And then, like I said, some picture books, some short stories, some poems. I'm going to try to get a lot of literature, even nonfiction selections, because I feel like that's some of the hardest that we have to search for. So I'm going to try to get a bunch out there for you all, because I'm doing a lot of reading. So I want to work together. So if y'all have recommendations for me, I want to hear those as well. So I know y'all are ready to go. I want to show you what books I'm going to be reading this week if I can find my stack. Let me know if you've read them in the comments, because I'm going to go back and look at these things. I know a lot of people have recommended this one. It's The Crossover. So if you read that one, let me know what you thought about it. I don't want to waste my time reading books. So if these are terrible choices, let me know below so I'm not wasting time. So I'm reading that this week. Rump, because I do a lot with fairy tales, and that's when I try to pull in a lot of classical literature, so that way I'm challenging my students with some differences of structure and word choice and things of those nature. So let me know about this one in the comments. That one was Rump. A Tale Dark and Grim, again, to go with fairy tales, so I kind of have a little theme going on. So if you've read this one, or if you did not like it, let me know below. And then this is kind of a new one, so I don't know if anybody's read this. I just found it. It looked interesting, and it said for people that like Harry Potter, and now that I'm a total Harry Potter fan, I picked it up. I've actually started reading it. So it's called The Time Travelers. So it's actually part of a trilogy. So if you have read this and you've liked it, let me know below. I don't know. It's kind of a new one. I haven't heard a lot about it, so I will definitely do a review on this one as well to let you know. You've heard it's great. Yay, that makes me excited, because this is a pretty good sized book, so I don't want to spend a lot of time if it's not a book that kids would be interested in. So let me know in the comments below about those books. And now I want to get to the giveaway. So I'm really excited about this. So I'm going to kind of flip this back around for you in just a second. Let me get this. Sorry, y'all. You're all in my face. I apologize. I can't do 2 things at once. Okay, so I'm going to show you the directions for how you can enter the giveaway. So hold on one second. Let me turn you. Okay, so I would like for you, if you want to enter the giveaway, to win those 4 books that I went over today. So if you want to win a copy of Harry Potter, A Long Walk to Water, Matilda, and Mockingbird, you can go to my Facebook page, which is Elementary Shenanigans. So my Facebook page is Elementary Shenanigans, and here's what you can do. First of all, you can share this scope by using your Perry Buddy, is that what it's called, down there in the corner, so that way people that are teachers that are looking for book recommendations can go there and check these out as well. So I would love for you to share that scope with friends that you think might be interested in some of this literature. And then to enter, go to my Facebook and like the post that looks like this. So it's the picture that says Saturday Shenanigans. And then I want you to comment with 4 more book recommendations for, it doesn't have to be from me specifically, but put your book recommendations and give the grade level, okay? So that way people that are looking for recommendations, I would like for you to have already read these books, not just heard that they were good, because we want to know from teachers, yes, these are books that we want to include in our classroom, So comment under this little graphic with your top 4 choices and grade level, and then share or tag. You can either share the post so that people can get book recommendations as well, or you can tag a friend that needs to join Periscope. So the post should already be on there. At the top of it, it says live in 5. I'm already going live. So you can go ahead and comment below. The image might look a little bit different. It might have the books over in the little square. So go ahead and comment that's on the image on my Facebook page now. It says live in 5. Okay. So again, you can share this Periscope using the little Perry Buddy in the corner. Go to my Facebook page, like the post, comment with your 4 books, and please make sure you put grade level so that way when people are referencing that list, they are looking for things that are appropriate for their students. And then share that post so that other people can pick up some books that they might be interested in or might interest their kids, and then tag a friend. Tag a friend that might want to join Periscope so they can get some good book recommendations and learn from all the other great teachers that are on Periscope. Okay, so if you miss those directions, they will be in the playback for this. I'm going to tell you guys goodbye, but thank you so much for joining in. I hope that was helpful. I hope, let me know if you hated it or you don't think I should do that anymore. But I think that, it's really, I talked a lot yesterday about student engagement, and I think if we want our kids to be successful readers, a lot of it boils down to the literature that they're reading, the books that they're reading. Because if they love the books, they're going to get into it. They're going to be excited about it. They're going to get deeper in their thoughts. They're going to be able to connect to that text. So I think it's really, really important that we're not kind of stuck back in 20 years ago. And I hope I'm not stepping on anyone's toes, because I stepped on my own, because trust me, I have learned the lesson the hard way. But remember, our kids are in a society that's always up and engaging, and new things are happening and new technology. So we've got to have literature that's going to engage our readers and show them that they can really love to read, that literature can take them places, books can take them places. But if it's books that they really can't connect to because they're written so long ago, that kind of poses some challenges. So first, show them an appreciation, get them to have an appreciation for reading, then definitely pull in those classics, no doubt. So I hope this was helpful. Y'all have been so wonderful. Let me know if you have any questions. You can send me a message on my Facebook page. That might be the best way to contact me if you have any questions about those books. And then tomorrow, last thing before I go, I will be live from my classroom. So I mentioned yesterday that a lot of people have been asking me on Instagram and on my Facebook and on my blog, can we please see your classroom? Can we please see your classroom? So yes, tomorrow I will be live from RCA in my classroom to give you a little classroom tour. So if you would like to see that, I hope you will join me. I will put the time that I'm actually going to be there so you can join in on my Instagram tomorrow. But other than that, I'm going to go take care of my husband and hope that he feels better really, really soon. I hope you all have a wonderful Saturday, and I will see you back tomorrow. Don't forget to head on over to my Facebook page, Elementary Shenanigans, and enter in the contest to win those 4 books, because I promise that you will love them. Happy Saturday, everybody.